What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Coffee Radio. Today, we're going to be going through a little bit of the Chainsaw Man recent drama, thanks to its terrible ending, rather obvious if you ask me, and a recent admission from Larry Fink, the CEO and founder, maybe? Just the CEO of BlackRock. Now, for all the dumbasses that believe BlackRock is just an asset manager, you are absolutely retarded and you never did your research. So, there was plenty of evidence that BlackRock was out here implementing all kinds of ESG scores trying to force behaviors onto the entertainment space so people can accept a new perspective on how to perceive reality in order to control their behavior, aka cultural Marxism, right? Anybody with a brain would have told you that. But unfortunately, it seems obviously a lot of people don't have a brain. Now, before we jump in, I gotta plug my boy. He just finished volume 1 of his MANAA. Head over to our website, coffeeoriginals.co.za, link in the description box, where you can read all kinds of good quality stories. We got something new for y'all here, Black Crow by Sleepyhead Mangaka. It is a new title that was supposed to be uploaded a long time ago, right? This is not my boy, but this is new and I gotta let you know about it, right? This is let me try to explain in a way. Basically, some people can start it and say, nah, this is a ripoff of One Piece. Well, it's not. It's just the female version of One Piece. Not really. This is a pure, heartfelt adventure, if you ask me. I actually like the art. It is very much so got this old school shoujo aesthetic about it. And you can be like, I thought the website was strictly shonen. Shonen themes, bro. Shonen aesthetic, bro. But it's not so ironclad. At the end of the day, the story just gotta have that meaning. Just gotta have that sense of adventure, right? Gotta have that soul up in it. But anyway, let's head over to the shop, right? Head over to the Coffee Originals shop page, and you can see now that Crossblade is available in digital download. Click the buy now and you will be transferred to Maxwell's Patreon, where you can see the volume available now for only $12. Support your boy because he's been working hard, right? Part of the MANAA movement, and he took all the advice that I gave him and implemented in his work, and he has grown. But anyways, let's get started. So I found this particular Cope by AJ. I don't know who he is, but I consider this somewhat of a cope, thanks to the terrible ending of Chainsaw Man, right? Now, he isn't completely wrong, but it's still horrendously bullcrap under the standard of coffee comics, right? We don't accept any sort of surrender just because you're outnumbered and there's 10 billion hunchbacks at the gate and there's only 5 of us. That don't mean we're just gonna surrender and do what the hunchback says, right? We're going out with a fight. That's what it means to be in this crucible against demoralization, right? But anyway, so AJ says, I think a big part of the messaging of Chainsaw Man Part 2 is that this world is so broken systematically at the fundamental level, so beneficial to those willing to dehumanize others and use them to their whims, and so cruel to those at the lowest rungs of society that it's simply and sadly impossible at times for people to grow and break out of their own internal cycles. That was a mouthful. Is he wrong? Well, no. His coping mechanism and hope that indeed this is what Fujimoto was trying to say. Yeah, nigga, you coping. You're wrong about that. Fujimoto is just a hunchback. That's all there is to it. He's a hunchback that didn't give one crack about his audience whatsoever. Made you read his garbage for 5-6 years only to leave y'all in the gutter, right? This is somebody who recognizes the ills of society and is now attaching it to what Fujimoto was trying to say. Listen, any one of you that are going to defend this bull crap that Chainsaw Man just gave us, right? You're part of the problem. You're part of the problem. You are the first people who would come against me, want to correct me and this movement of MANAA and blah, blah, blah. But when somebody deliberately ruins and crashes the plane upon landing, you will say he was trying to land it. I can see at the angle that he was trying to land at. Unfortunately, he just took a wrong turn at the last second and the plane crashed and everybody got vaporized. That's unacceptable. You're part of the problem. You're part of the problem. The dude crashed the plane. It doesn't matter how smooth the damn flight was. Thanks to Zach for that analogy, right? It don't matter if you got free discount cookies by the air hostess up in the air, right? It don't matter, bro. You crashed, you dead now, and there's nothing left. Forget what he was trying to say. How he said it, his execution was terrible, so he's a piece of trash author, right? So AJ here recognizes the ills of society, but bro, attaching it to what Fujimoto was trying to say is maximum cope. You like Fujimoto because he reminds you of yourself somehow. He's a hunchback, loser, freak, incel, hand job seeking ass, worthless soy boy freak of nature that was just fortunate enough to be born in Japan and be given the talent to draw here and there and then being shown in Jump, but ultimately he's just a sack of garbage. Continuing, and at times it is only possible through the sacrifices of loved ones and those we make connections with in spite and defiance of the torrid world we live in that change can occur. Well, if you're going to say that the execution in which Fujimoto gave us in Denji's so-called relationships that he formed with others, right? His connections that he formed with others was something to respect, something to pursue, then you're out of your mind. Denji is a low-life sack of garbage that gets bullied by all the degenerate masculine females around him while he is nothing but a walking vagina. All right? So, no. If you call that bonding, you call that a connection, being a doormat, being constantly broke, being constantly spoken down to, being treated as a pet, but you're a guy, then you're out of your mind. That's not a connection, that's cope, bro. I'd rather take a shotgun right now and blow my brains out than to have that sort of connection that Denji has with the other characters. Absolutely not. Continuing, throughout the entirety of the story, Denji consistently seems to flirt with the possibility of properly changing himself, filling the hole in his soul, and transcending his crippling conflation of sex and affection warmth to soothe his loneliness. But he never does until the world resets. Nigga, are you serious? Even when the world reset, he still could not actually transcend. That was not transcendent, that was acceptance that you were a loser, that you were a bum found in a warehouse, rotting away, and some freak of nature superpowered girl boss gave you a chance to serve her, to do some jobs here and there for her and her team. You gotta be kidding me. There was no transcendence here. Again, this is cope, right? Continuing, and naturally, it's really painful to see him fail again and again, especially when he shows signs of progress. And we as an audience yearn to see him pull himself up and stand tall and emerge victorious, through his own strengths and choices. Yeah, This is what we normally want to see. But the stories these days, they don't want to give you that. But you know what? Why should they give you that? How many of you grew up watching what this guy describing? Growing up watching Goku rising again from every fight that he lost, Naruto included. But did you people rise? Did you people commit? Were you brave enough to keep failing forward? You were not. And so many of you still hate me and want me dead, right? Yet I am in the biggest gutter on the damn planet. Well, the second biggest gutter, because the major gutter is India, Africa being the second biggest gutter. I am in the second biggest gutter on the planet. Yet I still persist, right? But you mother suckers that are not in the gutter, you want to see other characters rise to the occasion, become a Super Saiyan, but then you don't take those lessons to heart. Your own lives are backwards. Your damn rooms stink, right? Underwear on the floor, roaches crawling everywhere, monster drinks and liquor bottles all over the place, endless pounds of ashes from whatever the hell you were smoking. Your personality is underdeveloped, your characters utter pieces of trash, virtue signaling ass mother suckers. How dare you? To desire characters that stand for something when you yourself cannot stand for yourself. When they say, yo, it's 2020, you gotta get this jab up in you. You couldn't stand up for yourself. You took it. You took it. You coward. I don't want to hear nothing. I don't. You don't deserve it. You don't deserve heroic characters anymore. You don't deserve the OG Goku. You deserve a Denji. Because our current society is jacked, filled with sissified men. And the establishments, institutions are empowering sissified authors to create stories that propel the sissified man, the incel, the freak, the loser, to be the face of the modern man. Y'all can say you want this type of man, but you're not pursuing that idea of that particular man. You can't say no when the hussy comes over and makes all kinds of demands. You can't do it. You can't do anything. OG Batman, Goku, Superman, the OG stuff, when it was around, you still could not stand up for yourself. The establishments had to stand up for you. And now you want those characters to return, those traits to return. So what? So you can still sit and rot in your room and just drink soda all day? Are you kidding me? And have a despicable personality, being double-minded, cognitively dissonant, having no ability to self-examine yourself? You gotta be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me. Modern society does not deserve quality stories anymore. Modern society does not deserve the stories that are in Koffee originals anymore. They don't, because they would not know what to do with stories that are found here. They would just call everything there corny, call everything there mediocre, because you, mother effer, have no soul. You are a piece of trash that never lived his own life, but lived through the algorithm enforced by the establishments at the time, and even now. How pathetic. Continuing, but sometimes, despite how much we try, it isn't possible for that to happen when that growth is so consistently exploitable that when relapsing on it due to shallow serotonin spikes, pleasure, indulgence, fame, is so hard to resist. Denji leaned on the things that he felt would make him happy in the moment, but that was only ever a temporary bandage on a permanent wound. How deep? Still, Denji could not overcome. Look, man, I be bleeding out daily in the jungle, and so is the rest of my team that is rotting in a worse jungle than I am. We have a gaping wound that is oozing blood on the daily, but still we persist. Still we get work done, we get product done, we get product produced and delivered, right? So I don't wanna hear it. These modern dudes are nothing but bitch ass niggas. That's all there is to it. Ooh, Denji has a permanent wound, but he keeps bandaging it with liquor and hose and whatnot. But he cannot overcome. Listen, you can still do the work when you're bleeding out. Now you cannot do it consistently because the pain is too rough. That's why you gotta do it with a sense of urgency. That's why you gotta plan things out. That's why you gotta anticipate things. But some mother suckers are just way too damn comfortable. Some mother suckers are just those fat blobs sitting on a floating wheelchair like those characters in the movie WALL-E. Right? I ain't on no wheelchair, bro. I got one wooden leg, a wooden arm, and a giant hole on my side. And we're still getting product done. Reality doesn't give one crack how you feel, mother sucker. It don't. But y'all just gotta feel right before you do something right. You just can't do something right. But you see, up in here in this coffee, up in this caffeine, bro, you gonna do what's right because you know it's right. That's all there is to it. All these sissy mother suckers, y'all have no right to complain. None whatsoever. Pieces of trash who are trying to kill me like Niobe Comics, 50-year-old mother sucker sitting rotting, plotting on how to kill somebody dying in Africa, instead of improving his own life, his own work, trying to network with better people to get his product out there, trying to create a proper community of people rising to the occasion. No, that's not what Niobe's doing. That is not what Tyler is doing. That's not what what's-her-face, Queenie-chan, is doing. Complacent slaves, criticizing the system, saying they hate it very much, but ever so comfortable with it. Pathetic. Continuing, Denji leaned on things. Oh, I read that part. It was only a symptom, and he was never equipped to heal himself at a fundamental level, nor was anyone around him ever capable of helping him in this way. No. Poor baby expecting other people to help him. Due to them being broken or using him, and due to the world not allowing Denji the time to heal himself properly with people he cared for. Sometimes, due to all of the above, these cycles win, and the only way people can break out of them is through the sacrifices of those who care for them. It's cruel, but inconsistent with the story prior. What a damn shame, man. So we need to now wait for other people who might care about us to crucify themselves for our development, for our possible rising. Who is to say, indeed, that if your family decided to burn themselves at the stake for your sake, does it guarantee that you will rise? Does it guarantee that you will be a Super Saiyan? Is being a Super Saiyan unlocked through the sacrifice of other people? Or the sacrifice of you in your world, in your false foundation? Do you see how these people cannot perceive reality properly? They want other people to sacrifice themselves, or they believe it is through the sacrifices of other people that you can develop. They don't want to sacrifice anything. bitch ass niggas. This is the world we live in, and the old world is never coming back. But here at Coffee Comics, I am the one who reminds all of us that the old world was a particular way. I am the voice crying in the wilderness to keep the path straight and narrow, so that all who wish to tell proper stories may walk on this path, uninterrupted by retarded mothersuckers on the damn internet. I am that voice crying in the wilderness. And it is only here, through this caffeine, that we can all remind ourselves where we come from, what we were trying to do, what the goal was all along. But so many people want to be so fixated on the wrong things that comes with this caffeine. And where do the others get you? Well, back to me, of course, but ultimately, nowhere. This is one long tweet. The last paragraph says, "Now, I'm not a fan of the execution of this in the story. I don't think it's earned nor built up into the conclusion properly. I don't particularly like or agree with some of the things Pochita, the little chainsaw dog, tells Denji prior to the sacrifice. I think Asa is very mishandled in the latter half of the story, and I think Fujimoto struggled with portraying these cycles as particularly engaging and compelling from a storytelling perspective. But I've seen some say that the message of Pochita sacrifice is all wrong, and I don't think I agree with that. It reminds me a lot of one of my favorite series, Mau, how do I say that? Mawaru? Pengui, whatever? Wherein accumulating sacrifice from those undeserving but willing contribute to a changed world. Denji was consistently a victim, and while we wished for him to be able to grow on his own and change, he was too fundamentally broken by the world to ever properly reach that threshold. Cope. No man, Fujimoto is just a piece of trash. He himself never overcame his own problems, and he wanted y'all to pretty much let you know it's okay to stay a bum. I mean, what sort of life is that? How do you live in permanent stagnation? How do you just sit still and be okay with nothing? It kind of reminds me in the old days